The signal came from the edge of the Orion arm, weak, broken, and full of fear. It traveled across the void for weeks before reaching the Galactic Council's emergency channels. The message was simple. This is the colony of Zera 4. We are under attack. Unknown enemy. Please anyone, help us. The message repeated 3 times before fading into silence. Most of the council ignored it. Zera 4 was far from the core worlds near the uncharted spiral where few dared to go. The region was cold, full of dead stars, black holes, and strange radiation. But the message didn't vanish. It kept bouncing through the network, finding its way to places it shouldn't have reached, and one of those places was Earth. The arrival of the message commander Riley Hahn of Earth's Outer Recon Fleet was scanning the deep space relays when the signal hit his terminal. The sound was old, distorted, like a whisper through metal. He replayed it, adjusted the filters, and frowned. Colony distress. Zera 4, he murmured. He turned to his AI assistant. Cross-check. Any alliance treaties in that sector? The AI's cold voice replied. Negative. That system lies beyond Galactic Council protection zones. Riley leaned back. So, no one's going to answer? Correct. Probability of intervention from Council fleets, 0.02%. Riley sighed. He knew how the galaxy worked. The Council's races were peaceful, diplomatic, and cautious. Too cautious. They loved talking. They feared action, but Earth wasn't like them. Since the early days of interstellar expansion, humans were known as the Deathworlders, children of a violent planet, forged by predators, diseases, wars, and survival instincts. While other species evolved in paradise, humans evolved in chaos. To the galaxy, they were dangerous. To themselves, they were unstoppable. Riley opened a private channel. Admiral Vega, he said. We've received a distress call from Zera 4. No one's responding. What are your orders? The Admiral's face appeared on the holoscreen. Her expression was unreadable. Send it to command, she said.
And prepare the fleet.
We move at dawn. The fleet of Deathworlders. When Earth's fleet moved, space itself seemed to tense. 12 heavy cruisers, 4 carriers, and a swarm of autonomous drones left orbit silently. Their hulls were black, built from carbon composite armor that absorbed radar and light. No banners, no signals, just steel ghosts drifting through the void. Each ship carried thousands of soldiers, engineers, and medics. But above all, they carried Earth's reputation, the fear and respect that had earned them the title Deathworlders. The mission briefing was short. Respond to the SOS. Assess threat level. Secure Zera 4. No mercy for aggressors. Commander Riley stood in the observation deck of the Erebus, watching distant stars slide past. His crew worked silently around him. Some were veterans from the Titan campaign. Others were new recruits. All of them knew what it meant to carry Earth's banner. He looked at the stars and whispered, They asked for help. They'll get it. The colony's last breath, Zera 4, was burning. When the fleet arrived 3 days later, the planet looked like a wound in the cosmos. Dark clouds rising from the surface, energy signatures scattered across the atmosphere. The attackers were still there. Sensors identified them as Vorkai Raiders, a race of insectoid marauders known for enslaving colonies and selling survivors to the shadow markets. Their ships were small but fast, built for hit-and-run attacks. The Vorkai didn't expect anyone to answer the distress call. They were wrong. Riley's fleet decloaked above the planet, cutting through the black clouds like blades. The Vorkai picked up their signals and scrambled to respond, but by the time they powered their weapons, the humans had already fired. Missiles streaked through the void. Railguns cracked the silence. Vorkai ships exploded in bursts of plasma and molten shards. It wasn't a battle. It was an execution. Groundfall deploy Marines, Riley ordered. Dropships broke from orbit, falling through the flames like meteors. The surface of Zera 4 was chaos. Ruined cities, burning fields, and corpses of both colonists and raiders. The surviving humans and aliens on the colony hid in bunkers, unsure of what new force was descending from the sky. Then they saw the insignia, the blue and white emblem of Earth's Expeditionary Command. For a moment, they felt relief. But that relief didn't last. The Deathworlders didn't come with open hands. They came with vengeance. They moved through the ruins like predators, silent, efficient, and merciless. The Vorkai that survived orbital bombardment were hunted one by one. No surrender was accepted. No prisoners were taken. Sergeant Lynn of the 3rd Marine Division led her squad through the ruins of the capital city. Her armor was coated in ash and blood. A local colonist, trembling, peeked from behind a collapsed wall. "Are you here to save us?" the alien asked weakly. Lynn didn't answer at first. She looked around. Corpses, broken towers, and burning skies. Finally, she said, "We're here to end it." The aftermath. By nightfall, the last Vorkai ship was destroyed. Zera 4 was silent except for the wind and the crackling of fires. Admiral Vega arrived on the surface, walking through the ruins. The surviving colonists gathered, expecting aid and compassion. They had been enslaved, beaten, and starved. They hoped Earth soldiers would bring comfort. Instead, the Admiral looked around coldly. "You called for help," she said. "You'll get it. But understand this, the galaxy left you to die. Earth didn't. That means you now fall under Earth's protection and Earth's laws." A murmur spread among the survivors. Some were grateful. Some were afraid. Protection by the Deathworlders always came with a price. The whisper of fear news of Zera 4 spread fast across the galaxy. The Vorkai were annihilated, not defeated, not scattered, erased. Their home systems went silent soon after, as Earth's automated fleets followed up to ensure there were no survivors. The Galactic Council held emergency meetings, debating Earth's actions. Some called it justice, others called it terror. The Varn ambassador spoke in anger. They responded to a distress call not with kindness, but with violence. "Is this what humanity calls peace?" The Terran representative, calm and expressionless, replied, "You sent diplomats for centuries. You negotiated treaties. You wrote laws. Yet slavery still exists in your galaxies. We didn't come for peace. We came for results." The chamber fell silent. The final scene on Zera 4, the survivors rebuilt under Earth's guidance. Factories rose. Defense systems were installed. Every city bore the mark of the Deathworlders, sharp, efficient, and unyielding. Commander Riley watched from orbit, hands clasped behind his back. He thought about the colony's plea, the fear in their voices and the quiet rage in his soldiers' eyes when they saw what the Vorkai had done. Maybe the galaxy would never understand humans. Maybe they didn't need to. Because when Earth heard a cry for help, they didn't send prayers. They sent Deathworlders. The galaxy was never the same after Zera 4. What humanity did there spread across every world like wildfire. The story of a cry for help answered with fire and steel. Some races saw Earth as heroes who saved the helpless. Others whispered that the humans had become monsters, saviors with blood on their hands. But the Deathworlders didn't care what anyone thought. Council in panic at the Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council. Tension filled the air. Dozens of alien species gathered, some angry, some terrified, and a few deeply silent. The holographic news behind them showed the ruins of Zera 4, then images of the Vorkai home system, gone, vaporized, replaced with drifting debris. "Humanity must explain themselves," shouted the ambassador of the Wrath. "They destroyed an entire species." The council's moderator, a tall crystalline being named Oranth, turned toward the Terran representative, Ambassador Elena Ward. She stood alone, calm, her dark uniform showing the seal of Earth. "Ambassador Ward," Oranth said slowly, "the Council demands answers. You received a distress call, yes, but your response went far beyond a rescue operation. Why annihilate the Vorkai?" Elena's voice was calm, steady. "Because they were slavers. Because they killed children and sold survivors like property. And because no one else stopped them." A roar of voices erupted, angry, fearful, confused. "They could have been reasoned with," one shouted. "They needed to be tried in court," another cried. Elena waited for silence, then said, "Zera 4 sent a call for help. None of you responded. We did. That's the difference between the Council and Earth. You debate. We act." Her words echoed through the chamber like thunder. Meanwhile, on Zera 4, the colony was slowly coming back to life. Where ash once covered the streets, factories now hummed with energy. The colonists, both alien and human, worked under Earth's supervision. They had food, power, and security, things they had lost for years. But peace under Deathworlders came with rules. Every citizen had to register under Earth's protection system. Every weapon, every ship, every transmission was monitored. Some colonists whispered that they were now under new masters. Others said it was a fair price to pay for safety. Commander Riley. Han walked through the rebuilt capital with Sergeant Lin. The once broken skyline now shone with tall steel towers and Terran defense drones circling above. Never thought we'd end up rebuilding this fast, Lin said, looking up. Riley nodded. Humans don't leave things half done. If we destroy, we rebuild. A small alien child ran up to them, holding a crude wooden model of a human starship. Is it true? The child asked. You came from the Death World? Riley knelt. Yes, Earth, a hard planet. You'd hate it there. Then, why do you fight so hard? Riley smiled faintly. Because we learned long ago, if you don't fight, someone else will take everything from you. The return of the fleet after 2 months. The Earth fleet prepared to leave Zera 4. The colony was stable. The Vorkai threat was gone, but their mission wasn't over. There were other distress calls, other places ignored by the Council. Admiral Vega stood on the command bridge of the Erebus as the ships powered up. Our job here is done, she said. But the galaxy is watching. They'll either fear us or follow us. Commander Riley looked at the planet one last time. Let them watch, he said. Fear keeps the predators away. The fleet jumped to faster than light speed, disappearing into the void. But they didn't go unnoticed. The Council's secret meeting. 3 weeks later, the Council held a secret session. Only the highest leaders of major species attended. The holomap displayed red markers across the outer regions, systems recently contacted or secured by Earth's fleets. They are expanding, Oranth warned. Not with conquest, but with protection. Each rescued world swears loyalty to Earth in return for safety. They're building an empire, hissed the Reth ambassador. An empire born from good intentions, said another, a reptilian scholar from the Quarn. But how long before those intentions fade? A nervous silence followed. Everyone remembered the Vorkai. A powerful species erased in days. What should we do? Someone asked. Oranth's voice echoed through the hall. We prepare, because one day they may decide we need saving. The shadow fleet unknown to the Council. Earth's High Command had already begun something new. Project Aegis. A massive defense network surrounding human territory. Thousands of drones, satellites, and orbital cannons were being built, not for invasion. For deterrence, Admiral Vega called it peace through fear. She stood in a dark war room watching holograms of dozens of planetary systems. The Council fears us, she said to her officers. Good, let them. Fear keeps them polite. Commander Riley entered the room. And if they stop being polite? Vega looked at him with steel in her eyes. Then the galaxy will learn what Earth does when someone breaks a promise. Voices of the people across the galaxy. Opinions about humans were divided. On one moon, miners sang songs of Earth soldiers who freed them from pirates. On another world, alien mothers told their children, behave or the Deathworlders will come. A trader on the edge of known space summed it up best when asked about Earth. They're not angels. They're not devils. They're inevitable. The rebel whisper months later. A new signal reached Earth. Not a distress call, a threat. A group calling themselves the Coalition of Harmony, made up of several species who feared Earth, sent a message. Humanity's interference must end. Your fleets are too violent, your methods too brutal. Stand down or face consequences. When the message reached Earth's Central Command, the room went silent. Then Admiral Vega laughed quietly. Consequences, she repeated. They threaten us. After hiding during every cry for help? She turned to her AI. Prepare a reply. The AI asked, What message should I send, Admiral? Vega smiled coldly. Send them the coordinates of Zera 4. Let them visit and see what consequences look like. The new alliance. But not everyone hated Earth. Some worlds admired them. The freed colonies, Zera 4, Marthis 9, and the shattered moons of Tyron formed a new pact under Earth's protection. They called it the Alliance of the Rescued. They built trade routes, shared technology, and trained soldiers together. For the first time in galactic history, peace didn't come from words. It came from fear of breaking it. Commander Riley was assigned as Earth's ambassador to the new alliance. On his first visit to Zera 4 after its recovery, he saw children playing under rebuilt towers, alien and human together. A local leader approached him. You saved us, she said, but you also changed us. We used to think kindness alone could save the galaxy. Riley looked out at the horizon where Terran banners fluttered in the wind. Kindness, he said quietly, is a luxury of safe worlds. On Deathworlds, survival comes first. The calm before storm for almost a year, peace held. Trade increased, piracy dropped, and more colonies asked for Earth's protection. But deep inside the Council's territory, the Coalition of Harmony prepared something dangerous, a massive hidden fleet built from combined alien technology. Their goal was clear: to challenge the Deathworlders and prove that peace could not come from fear. They gathered in secret, creating weapons powerful enough to pierce human armor. They trained elite units to counter Terran tactics. They waited for the right moment, the second signal. Then it happened. A distress signal, almost identical to the one from Zera 4, echoed across the network. A small colony at the edge of Coalition space was under attack. The message reached Earth. Riley and Vega stood in the command center as the signal played. "Please, anyone, we are dying. Help us." Riley looked at the Admiral. "They're testing us," he said. "If we respond, the Coalition will use it as a trap." Vega nodded. "And if we don't, innocent people die." Riley's jaw tightened. "So what's the plan?" The Admiral smiled, slow and cold. "The same as always. We answer the call." The final march once again, the dark fleet of Earth rose from its docks. Engines roared like thunder. Thousands of eyes across the galaxy turned toward the stars as the Deathworlders moved again. Some prayed, some hid, some watched with awe. But everyone knew, wherever the Deathworlders went, the galaxy would change. Commander Riley stood at the front of the Erebus, looking out at the endless dark. "They called for help," he said softly, "and help is coming." He paused, then added under his breath, "Not with kindness. Never with kindness." The fleet vanished into the black, leaving behind the same message burned into the stars. When Earth answers, mercy ends.